I think a critical and sometimes underappreciated lens on this overall conversation about AI in talent acquisition is the kind of interconnectedness of the shifting role of a recruiter. So at the start of this conversation, what I was hearing and what we were seeing was, frankly, largely focused around the question, the conversation, maybe even the perceived mandate of when and where is AI replacing recruiters? But to Allison's point, this conversation continued to evolve, shift, and change. And that is still the perception among some, and I would say especially among some leaders outside TA. We could open a whole conversation at some point around, what does my CFO think AI could be doing versus what I think AI should be doing in my TA team? That may be a conversation for another day. But what I'm hearing now is that at least the most adept leaders, they're shifting that conversation from will AI replace recruiters to how will the role of recruiters evolve in an AI-enabled world. So what that looks like really depends on the company, depends on your aims, your aspirations, your hiring volumes, but also your things like your stance toward candidate experience prioritization and all the way to tolerance to legal risk. But a few examples, like you might see like a tech-driven organization might be prioritizing building recruiter expertise in some of these advanced tools like AI-driven candidate matching and redeployment tools, think like a Phenom or an Eightfold, and then largely moving some of this top-of-funnel candidate identification out of the super manual and into more tech-enabled. Others are starting to wade into the world of AI agents that are making their way into TA, considering what tools like LinkedIn's new, mostly in pilot, but in their new AI-powered hiring assistant, or Allison even alluded to Paradox's Olivia. What can those tools take on? And where do we feel comfortable moving some key parts of this process out of recruiters' hands? But however we're thinking about this, when we're thinking about the tasks that recruiters are no longer doing, what we're seeing is that leaders are then identifying the parts of the process that can most benefit from the unique value of that human touch from recruiters, whether it's high impact candidate interactions, or frankly, and what we probably see most is really focusing even deeper on building tighter, more consultative relationships with our internal clients, our internal stakeholders, our key hiring managers. And so, any specific use case aside, though, what we're seeing is that leaders just need to be considering how company culture and your values and your priorities and how those are factoring into the evolution of this recruiter role. So like if I had one takeaway in this space, it's really that if it ever could, it really can't now. Tech cannot really be looked at all as in a vacuum. We can't say, are we doing this tool or not? Rather, it fundamentally needs to be thought about and considered in this broader ecosystem as part of your organization's overall TA operating model. How are tech and tools going to enable people? How are the people's roles then shifting, evolving, and changing? And then how does the overall process fit together accordingly?